Fear stems from the unknown, but how will we ever know if we don't take the steps necessary to overcome that fear? Hello everyone, my name is Anthony, also known as Flo, and today in this video, I'm just going to be talking about why you should move to a big city in your 20s, and why it's the only and the best idea, especially if you're an artist or creative like me. I just feel like most people don't realize that the city, the small town, or the city that they live in now, even if it isn't the smallest town, it's limiting them. It's limiting you. Because if you're someone who thinks big and you come from a small town, you realize that most people in your town don't think like you. They either think small, or they just think one-sided, or they don't think at all. They're just sheep. I feel like once I moved to New York from Ohio, a small town in Ohio, it really just brought something out of me. Like, I've always was a big thinker, but I never really had like a lot of people in my original town to think with, because everybody just had this really small way of thinking. And a great example of this is, especially in the Black community, but a great example of this is when I was talking to my cousin and I told him I wanted to be a millionaire before 30, the age of 30. And he looked at me and with this grimace hater type of face. And he was like, "What, you gonna play basketball, or you gonna play sports or something, be a rapper?" And I'm like, I just looked at him in disgust almost, because I mean, we were young at the time, but even still, even at a teenage, young age, I've still always thought big. And hearing that just really frustrated me, because I was like, is that the only way you think the only way I could be successful is if I'm playing basketball or a sport or being a rapper as a Black man? It's like, there are so many ways to make money, especially in a city like New York. And it just really, that frustrated me. And that was like a moment for me where I was like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, because this is not how I think. And when I moved to New York, I realized that there were so many people, either older or my age or younger, who thought like me. And I felt, damn, I've always belonged here. And it's like, I know I said you don't realize you're limiting yourself by staying in your small town. Some people do realize it. Some people don't realize it. Some people need that push and that little glimpse of what they can achieve in a big city, especially like New York or LA, Chicago. I've thought about Chicago because I have family there, but New York, I've always known New York was just it for me. Once I visited New York back in 2021 for a vacation, I knew this is where I belonged. And I finally made the move last year when I was 22. 2 weeks before my 23rd birthday, I moved here, May 1st. Get the fuck out of your city. It's time to go. It's time to go. And another reason, we live in an age where you can find opportunity anywhere, especially with social media. You can DM people, email people. We live in a digital age, so it's like people think you don't need to move to achieve great things, but moving definitely helps, because again, you can only do so much over a DM or a phone call. There's nothing like actually being in these creative spaces, in these business entrepreneurial spaces. Nothing will ever beat the real thing. And it's like, yeah, when I lived in Ohio, I DM'd people, but the connection will only go so far, because we're in two different parts of the world. There's only so much you can do. And then once you've done what you can do, you kind of just go your separate ways. But it's like, when you're in a city full of creatives, there's creatives at every turn, and you're able to build more important, long-lasting relationships because of the proximity to creativeness. Okay, this one is the most important one, because anyone who knows me, I can reel up this for hours, but I'm going to try to keep this video short, because I realize we live in a digital TikTok age and everybody's attention span is fucked. But when I tell you, your confidence will skyrocket when you move to that big city. I say this all the time, but anyone who has grown up with me or has known me for my whole life has known that I have been awkward, emotionless, like shell, and just in a little corner, just, you know, in my own bubble. I was never a socialite. I was never the social type. I didn't have friends back home. Like anybody who knows me knows all of this. Like I am not the same person I was before I moved to New York, for the better. I've changed. I did a complete 180 in terms of my social skills and my people skills and my ability to just network with people. Yeah, while I'm very grateful for the man I was back in Ohio because he laid the groundwork for me to even be able to move to New York. He built his credit, he built his skills, his competence, his creativeness. He made better music. He learned new languages. It's like I am appreciative of who I was back in Ohio, but when I moved to New York, I became a completely different person. Like sexually, I was more confident. Socially, I was more confident. Creatively, I was more confident. I've done things that I've never even seen myself doing before because I was just such in a box back home. And I feel like that's the thing people don't realize. It's like some people need like that push to really explore themselves and know that they're able to achieve what they've never been able to achieve. And sometimes all it takes is just moving. That's all it takes. Because when I say Anthony a year ago would not recognize Anthony now, he would be so proud. I love New York for that reason because it's really pushed me. And the thing is, New York is it's the biggest city in America. So it's like you can't be shy and awkward living in a city like this. You will get ran the fuck over. Like you have to have some type of grit, some type of to your personality, some type of attitude, because you need to network. If you're moving here for business, entrepreneurial, artistic reasons, you need to be able to network. And you can't do that if you're this awkward little shy person standing in the corner at a social event. It's like you gotta approach people, you gotta smile, you gotta do all those things. You have to like really sell yourself. And that's something I wasn't able to do back home. But when I moved here, I made it my mission. I'm like, I'm gonna take every opportunity. I'm never gonna say no to an opportunity. I'm gonna go to every social event I get invited to. I'm gonna go to every party, every gathering.
I'm trying to go out, turn up. So what's happening? What we doing? Bitch, I'm trying to go out tonight. We already had plans to go out last night. I want to go out. I'm trying to go out and have a good time. Like, I'm trying to go out, party. Carry your voice, because we trying to go out and host and stuff. And I'm trying to go out tonight. We out before we go out tonight, because you know I'm trying to go out. Like, then we said we going out.
Not saying no to nothing. And that has really boosted my confidence. And leading into that, I just want to say, if you're someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, someone who wants to make a lot of money, you need to live in a big city. You just have to. Because think about it. If you live in like a small town in Ohio or Iowa or Mississippi or some shit, it's like the GDP and the economy, it's not going to equal to what you want to achieve. It's like, sure, you can run a business in a small town. You can even have a successful business in a small town. You can make money online. There's so many ways to make money. But when you're put in a city or in proximity with other like-minded individuals and other business owners who have made the money, and you live in and you move to a city worth trillions, billions, and trillions of dollars, you realize that making money is so much easier. And I'm on my financial journey now. Like I said in a previous video, it was a lot easier to maintain my money in Ohio because the cost of living is just so much cheaper. But in New York, everything is expensive. Rent, housing, food, transportation. It's like everything is expensive here. So it's like money doesn't go as far. But you always have to realize you're in New York, you're in LA, you're in Miami, you're in Chicago, whatever city you decide to move to. It's a money city. There's trillions, billions, and trillions of dollars to be made. So Move to a money city. If you're someone who loves money, and let's be for real, we all do. We all know the same. Money doesn't make you happy, but it buys you things that makes you happy. And let's be honest, money can solve a lot of issues. It doesn't solve all issues, but it solves a lot of financial issues. So if you're someone who loves money, move to a money city and learn the ropes, learn how to sell, learn how to be an entrepreneur, get you a 9 to 5. Even if you're someone who's not like an entrepreneur and you're someone who just wants a more lucrative job, big cities have bigger jobs. So if you like money, move to a money city. And the last point I want to stress is your family will always be there, but your 20s will not. Your young prime years will not be there forever. Your family will always be there. So if you're scared to leave family behind, if you're scared of what they're going to think, just remember, it's your life. It's not theirs. Yeah, they're going to miss you. Yeah, you're going to miss them. But it's not worth you sacrificing your 20s or your 30s or the years where you're really like able to do what you need to do. Like let's say you don't have kids. Let's say you want kids in your 30s or 40s or whatever. Use your 20s to build up social skills, your entrepreneurial skills, then have kids. Don't rush into having kids. Don't rush into building a family if that's not what you want. Use your 20s to live your life because it's your life. It's not your family's life, and move. One thing I thought is when I moved to New York, I thought I was going to be homesick. But when I tell you I haven't been homesick a day since moving here, and it's been almost a year, it's been 9 months, and I have not been homesick once. I don't want to say I hated my hometown, but I hated my hometown. It wasn't for me. A big city has always been for me because I just think big. I don't think like, I hate to sound pretentious, but I don't think I align with most people my age. This is why I date older men. And I know that's like, how do we get here? But I just feel like the way I think is beyond my years, and most people my age, I don't want to say don't have the capacity to think like me because that sounds very pretentious and conceited, and that's not how I am. But most people my age don't align with my way of thinking, if I'm being honest. Especially back home. In New York, there's more young people like me who think like me. But back home, there was really no one my age who thought like me. So I had to go. Leave your family. They'll always be there. They're going to cry. They're going to miss you. You're going to cry. You're going to miss them. But it's not worth you staying miserable in a city you don't want to live in versus living your life and choosing you. That pretty much concludes this video. I just want to say, take your 20s and move. Do that because you won't regret it. It's scary, I know. I can't really say I was scared. I wasn't scared of moving here. I was more so scared of not being able to stay here. That's what I was scared of. I really had no fear moving here. If I'm being 100% honest, I knew that I was going to come to this city and make shit happen for myself because I just have that mindset. So I was never scared of moving here because, like I said, I wasn't homesick. I was just more so scared of not being able to stay here. What I mean by that is I was scared of potentially not finding a permanent place to stay, or not finding friends, or not finding a job. But I found all those things, and it's been 9 months, so I'm not going anywhere no time soon. But yeah. And I just really want you to take this video as your push to go. Finances is not a huge thing. I know inflation is a big thing, but you really only need like a few thousand. Live within your means. Make sure you find a job as quick as possible and go from there. But what I did is I moved to an Airbnb for a couple months, and then I explained this in another video. Go watch that video if you want to know how I did it. But yeah, move ho. just move. My name is Anthony, also known as Flo, and I hope you guys take something from this. Salut.